Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our last broadcast, at least mine and Hugo's, for tonight. It is going to be the case that it is Space Soldiers versus OpTic, a fantastic one to end off our time here at the ESL UK studio. Of course, you know, we still have Jackie and Crispy, and they're still bringing you some more stuff later on tonight. But this is our, this is our piece de resistance, our grand finale, if you will. And a great one to have as well. Two teams that have come into this event and surprised us both. Space Soldiers managing to take down SK in the first round. OpTic managing to also take down North. I want to call North a slumping team, but it seems like none of their... It's a long slump. They've really had no results for quite a while now. I mean, they got second at Pro League Finals, but other than that, they did get a fairly easy group, right? They're weird, right? They're like a team that have a lot of potential and a lot of great players on, and one that when you look at, you think that, you know, these guys are going to achieve some fantastic stuff, and then they just never seem to actually achieve it. No, I mean, the only time... They have the mentality of people who are achieving good results. That's the weirdest part. And the paycheck, right? No, even Pro League Finals, when they got to second place, their group was pretty easy. I mean, obviously they did well in getting through the trials, but even so, I don't know about that. Anyway, this game should be good. OpTic have surprised me. Space Soldiers have even more surprised me. And, well, what's better than two completely unknown entities coming into a great matchup? Yeah, you know, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this one does pan out. And I suppose, you know, it's a good test, really, for either team. Yeah. I really like North, but I think they're a fantastic team. I was personally very surprised when OpTic were able to, you know, pull the wool over their eyes and actually win that out. Space Soldiers are a team that I think, you know, have been performing well for a long time now, and I'm happy to see them at this event on that basis. I think that they're a team that, you know, I mean, there's good reason, I think, why they weren't at a lot of events before. I feel like, you know, they've grafted a lot within the last couple of months. They've learnt a hell of a lot, and we've seen them go from strength to strength. But now they're looking like a team, as people have been saying now for a long time, that could start contending, you know, for some of these EU tournaments. And you know, me and you were speaking about just a minute ago, if they win this, then there's a very high chance they make it out the groups. They're 2-0 up at that point. Yeah, it's absolutely insane, though. I'd be really impressed to see if they could do it, and if they could actually make it out of the groups when they came into this one as the biggest underdogs I've ever seen in a 250k event, I would be really happy for them. It'd be nice to show that they do have this high skill gap, but we do have the vetoes in now, so yeah, that's what that dramatic noise is. That's really cool. Listen to it. I like it. Oh, it's original. Inferno gone. Boom. This one, what's next? Let's see. Nuke it sounds really ominous, right? Oh, there you go. Oh, wait, like, no. OpTic are not back. It's like, rest in peace. Rush has been exiled. He's gone. And then it's just like, oh, you thought that was it, but they've returned. Paz has been banished to the... I don't know. It just feels like it's really ominous, right? Am I the only one who gets that vibe? Yeah. But, yeah, there you go. The map is going to be Mirage. You actually predicted that earlier. We knew. I hate to say it, but we already knew. Yeah. But I have a 100% correct veto call on every map that we've casted. Obviously, I've not been doing every map. I've done all 4 of our maps. I've got them 100% right every time, which is not something I'm usually great at. So I'm actually impressed with myself. It's a big personal achievement. We've got upsets all across the board. Space Soldiers, OpTic, Hugo's predictions. Nothing's going wrong for me today. I'm enjoying myself. Go buy a lottery ticket and have fun with that. Or alternatively, you can actually probably head over to Betway. Better odds there. Yeah, get bet in there. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Speaking of that, you know, you've probably got your way that you're leaning in all this. I want to hear yours, and then we can kind of look at how people are betting on this game. Again, who knows, so unknown quantities, but just off the earlier performance, I'm going to go with Space Soldiers right there. SK, a team full of aggression. The issue is, we look at OpTic. Tarek is now calling for OpTic. So, say what you want. Obviously, they're a good team in terms of individual play, but they're not going to be well strategized coming into this one in the same sense of maybe Space Soldiers are, because OpTic are switching the caller a few days before the event. We've obviously had that whole Jason R stint, then we now have Hayes back into the roster, and now he's not even calling. We're waiting on potentially I'm a pet from CLG to move into this as a coach, rumoured, and now we've got Tarek calling for this event. It's a weird switch up. Obviously, it's had success. They just took out North, right? So it's proven to work to some extent. But we're early days, so I feel like you've got to go for the safe option, which is Space Soldiers coming into this. That being said, again, both these teams are unknown quantities. It's going to be a hard one. Are you agreeing with me on this? Yeah, I'm going to ride out the epic ride on the Space Soldiers highway. I tweeted earlier, Space Soldiers to win ESL One Cologne 2017. Okay, there we go. It's bold. Yeah, no, I'm going to ride the Space Soldiers highway hype train. And yeah, speaking of the highway, let's look at the Betway as to what it is that they're predicting. And it is very close. I think that you're pretty spot on with your predictions of this is one where there's a lot of unknown quantities. Both these teams stepped up earlier. For me, I would go the way of Space Soldiers. I think they've looked phenomenal, and I think for Space Soldiers, there's so much on the line here, right? They're a team that is looking to prove themselves.
Yeah, with those odds, if I were you, Harry, I'm not you, but if I were you, I would head right over to Betway and I'd put some money on Space Soldiers, because those are good damn odds for Space Soldiers. Those are really good, almost 2 to 1. If you put money on, that's actually really good, because Space Soldiers, I would consider. Obviously it's close, but I don't think it's that close as those predictions come in. So yeah, really good opportunity to make some money. Don't blame me if you lose your money, but yeah, wow, Space Soldiers I think are coming into this one as the favourites, but again, we'll see how it turns out. I'm very interested to see if they can make it out of this.
You know what? And I tell you what, if my girlfriend's watching at home, she can go ahead and put some money on that as well. There's a potential for us to
bank account,
make them big dollars.
you kicked out of your apartment, like you're gone.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be worth. Who cares? You know, it's all fun and games. But yeah, it is going to be the case that we're almost ready to head into this one. We know that the map is Mirage, and Space Soldiers. You know, they're a team, as I said, that's been looking to try and prove themselves. And lately they have had some first-place results, most notably an event that I was at.
Which one was that?
I'm not sure if you're aware.
Was it the NVIDIA GeForce Cup?
It was the NVIDIA GeForce Cup. And, you know, they came first there. They kind of showed up, and it was one...
At the NVIDIA GeForce Cup.
Yeah, at the NVIDIA GeForce Cup. And Kinguin, they were the reigning champions at the NVIDIA GeForce Cup. And they were there defending their title, and Space Soldiers actually won it out, and they looked clean throughout. I mean, it was a tournament that ended all in 2-0, so it was... You know, not a spectacle really, like in that regard, but it was a clean-cut victory to say the least. And Space Soldiers, I feel like, have been going from strength to strength. It was a real surprise when they didn't qualify for the EU Minor, for example. They actually lost to Dignitas in a crushing defeat, 16-2 on Inferno, which is also weird when you consider that that's actually a good map for Space Soldiers. Don't really know what went on there. I was very, very happy when they actually qualified for this, just on account of it felt wrong not seeing them in the minor. At least we get to see them in ESL One.
Yeah, and it's been a long time due, right? They've been here. They get so hyped up. We look at Xantares and Calyx, 2 players that everyone just goes, "Oh, these guys are insane. Why are they not playing better teams? Maybe their English is the issue. Maybe they don't want to join another team. Maybe they're happy where they are. Maybe they aren't getting any offers. No one knows. And these guys are so sick individually, but we never see enough of them play on LAN or against, you know, relevant teams. They like smashing their way, winning every single small online cup there is. So now seeing them finally make the big stages, and they're proving to be a formidable force.
One thing I want to say then is when we kind of look at benchmarking, you know, these two teams, because obviously they've never played, right? Why the hell would these guys ever play each other? When we look at it, we've seen that Space Soldiers on Mirage have beat Flipside twice, Godsent, Kinguin, just to name a couple. Yeah, there's some of their most recent victories. And then you look over at OpTic, they've got wins versus Cloud9, Liquid, Gambit, and Envy. Now, I took the best wins that they've had recently on this map. Bearing that in mind, are you still going to stick with your space? Okay, yeah, me too. I am as well.
You can. The thing is, you can make these comparisons. You go, OpTic are beating better teams than Space Soldiers.
I would argue that if anything, actually, I reckon that these are probably better teams anyway.
Space Soldiers aren't playing better teams. That's the difference. OpTic are getting a chance to go to LAN, to play top-tier competition. They're getting invites. They're getting qualifications. They're one of the best in their region. Space Soldiers are nowhere near one of the best in their region, despite being of a similar skill level to OpTic, I would argue. So Space Soldiers aren't getting the same opportunity to play official matches up against these kind of caliber of teams. So that's why it's so good seeing them, you know, make their run through the Cologne qualifier. And I think that's something we need to touch on as well. You know, they actually had some great wins coming into this. They 2-0'd Outlaws. Say what you want, Outlaws are kind of upcoming, I guess, in that sense, so not really a surprise there. They then 2-0'd Envy, which is, of course, Envy, slumping, not slumping, who really knows, still, good win. And then they 2-0 Godsent, who, again, very inconsistent, but still got a lot of talent and power on a team that you would expect to see at an event of this caliber. So Space Soldiers didn't have an easy route through. I don't want to put a downer on Heroic's way in, but they beat Big and Dig to get here. They got seeded to the second round and only had to win 2 best-of-3. So obviously still good wins, but Space Soldiers had the harder path.
Did they?
Yeah.
I mean, I think victories versus Big and Dig is far harder than
Dig, though.
I think the Dignitas are an exceptionally good team. If I'm honest with you, I think that they've got a very high skill ceiling potentially. I think they're one that maybe not right now.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Right now. Like, this is a good month ago.
Yeah,
they could only just form.
I still think that they did some, like, even when you look at it, right, they literally 16-2 Space Soldiers on a fantastic map for Space Soldiers. And they went on then to do well at the minor with only a few months to actually practice. I think they're actually a very good team. I think, you know, it's fairly equally weighted as well when you do look at it. You know, Space Soldiers having to kind of go in and beat 3 teams and 3 teams, all of good standards, who on a good day are very talented. But I don't think it's necessarily like too clean cut to say that.
Even if we're not comparing out Heroic and Space Soldiers, both teams had a hard path to some extent to get here. So I'm just impressed at Space Soldiers' performance so far. And even if they go out, 1-3, I think they've gained some LAN experience. They've beat, arguably the best team in the world or one of the best teams in the world. So yeah, I think that's good enough. But I don't want to see them go yet, Harry. I want to see them make it all the way to the playoff.
Yeah, I think that'd be really exciting. It's just, can Calyx and Zentaris carry Space Soldiers on their massive space shoulders? For a little bit more information and backstory, though, as to who Space Soldiers actually are, if you're not aware, they're fantastic, by the way. Go ahead and check this out.
This is the first time a Turkish team participates in an event like this. We feel very happy. We are very exciting to be there, and we work very hard to be there, and I hope we're going to show to the world that we deserve to be there. The ultimate goals, to be honest, is to play on the stage. So we want to pass the Swiss the first round, and after that, if we are in the playoff, this is our goal. We are better when we practice. So it's a LAN. Maybe everybody don't know, but we prefer to play on LAN. So I hope we're going to show that we are better on LAN. I hope we're going to win, but like everybody know, SK Gaming is, for me and maybe for a lot of people, the best team in the world, actually. So we're going to play our game, and I hope it's going to be a success one. But it will be difficult, we know that. I would like to say them thank you very much for the support, guys. I hope we're gonna not disappointing you, and we're gonna fight for you. Winter is not coming, but the summer is coming. Turkey is coming. Space Soldiers to ESL One Cologne. We are coming.
Inspiring stuff. Truly wonderful. I mean, they're here, with a very, very clear message, and that is that, Turkish CS is not something that, can be ignored any longer. These guys are the ones to try and bring it now to the forefront of CS, and I think they're doing a damn good job. But as we get ready, Hugo, what are your kind of final thoughts and feelings?
I am feeling.
There you go. That's a terrible meme. But yeah, so I believe that the players are all almost in the server anyway. In all seriousness, what are your final thoughts and feelings as we get ready to head into this one?
I feel like this will be close. I feel like it's a great map for the matchup. Both teams looking very, very surprising and carrying on. I think even if Space Soldiers lose out on this one, there's still a chance for them to make it through. Not quite the same with OpTic. I think they got a great first matchup, but if they start to slip down, I think it's the mentality that will let them go. I think a lot of the Turkish pride, I imagine, will help Space Soldiers in the sense they want to prove to their country, they want to show their region, their country is not seen, as you said, to be ignored, and that will bring a lot of motivation, as well as their previous massive victory versus SK, whereas OpTic kind of do this, they come into the events and they're inconsistent, they win one, they lose one, and they're not of this same kind of, well, at least we haven't seen Space Soldiers, but typically, OpTic are the kind of team that do well and then don't do well. They're just inconsistent, and it's too hard to put too much weight on them when they have TheFatRat calling just off the back of nothing over a couple of days.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, right? If you're Space Soldiers, there's a lot of pressure on you because you've got, your Turkish fan base, which is huge, by the way, all kind of standing behind you saying that, these guys are a team that have to be taken seriously. And it's almost, in a way, comparable as to when sort of, SK were coming around trying to get that Brazilian scene taken seriously, which now it really is, right? And we've already seen those two clash of very passionate communities going head-to-head, and we actually saw Space Soldiers come out on top in all that. So, I think that's fantastic stuff. And now they're ready to try and take on the NA scene. Ready to try and mix things up with OpTic. I agree with you. I think Space Soldiers should be the ones to take this. At least, in my heart, I hope they can.
Yeah.
but OpTic are, of course, a very talented team. Mixwell versus Zentaras, who do you think would win in that?
I think we're actually into the game. I think the game's live, but we've missed the first round.
I don't know, Hugo. Make a bold claim.
Oh no, okay, someone's AFK. Sorry, everyone was on the pistol round. Everyone was rushing A with smokes, and I was like, oh, okay, they're taking it seriously. No, sorry, Mixwell versus.
Yeah,
I ruined it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That was good. No
I
worries.
should put more faith.
Welcome to the B stream. With
all my fault.
With Hugo
now
B
we're live. Now we're live. It's okay. Oh god, that was embarrassing.
No, it's fine, honestly.
Thanks, Harry.
Someone clip this. Make sure it ends up on the front
just
page.
shut up. Just shut up. Well, either way. So who are we comparing?
Mixwell and Zentaras. I just wanted to know who
is
would
that
win.
a comparison?
No, not really, but I just wanted to know who you think could win that.
Plus, you can't really compare an AWP with a rifle.
No, that's true. All right, then. Engine. And, well, they keep kind of switching it up between Engine and Calyx. Ever since... What actually went on with Despe? I never got a clear answer there.
I don't know how the inner workings of Space Soldiers work, but I don't think... I don't want to say anything that's not
I haven't seen him play in ages.
I won't say anything that's not true, that I don't know. But he's in and out of the team. I think at this point he's probably out, especially with this roster doing well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that he's out of the team now. But don't quote me.
I'll never quote you.
They have a 6-man roster. It's really confusing.
Why would I ever quote Hugo? We're live right now, Byron. Oh wait, we're not live.
It looked live, Harry.
I know it looked live.
Just because you don't have a feed screen for yourself. Oh dear. Well, we're going live now anyway. Or are we? That's the question.
I don't know.
Yeah, they wrote live.
Something tells me, right? Considering that it's round 2 and there's an AWP and a couple... Right, just quickly, yeah, there's a screen right here that Hugo can see and I can't.
That you can't.
But,
you would have made the same mistake if you saw what I saw.
I don't think I would. I honestly don't think I would, but yeah, they're restarting everything, which now I imagine would signal that we're finally heading in. I'm making a bold prediction with this one. Let's see if I'm right. Hugo Byron, 100% predictions correct today, of course, apart from when the game was live. That's going to drag you down to what, 80%, I think.
Yeah, around that point.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Either way, we're live, Harry. Oh my god, welcome.
There we go, for real this time.
Gaming versus Space Soldiers. Space Soldiers on the CT side. OpTic, as you would guess, on the T side. They've got some nades. They've got a lot of nades, Harry. Look at those nades.
I'm very much looking at those nades and I'm interested. Speaking of being interested, that's what OpTic are in this A-bomb site. Charging on through. They don't account for Calyx, who's in the back line. Tapping away, gets himself 2, trying to get more work done. He somehow gets himself a 3rd. He should not have stayed alive that long. And now it's all on Tarek. 1v3. Bomb been dropped out in the site. There's plenty of time left. But there are 3 Space Soldiers players just locking this down. They've got the bomb firmly in their sights, and they don't want to let this one slip through the net.
Flash goes out, will peek with it, blinds too, but they're there, as will spray. And Space Soldiers, they're going to start it off on good footing, 1-0 for the Turkish team, as OpTic Gaming unable to get anything done really in that round.
Look at this from Calyx, the Fresh Prince. That's my nickname for him, because he's just sensational. He got that nickname because I say Zentaras is the rightful king of Space Soldiers, but Calyx is the Fresh Prince.
Okay. Fresh Prince of Istanbul. As OpTic Gaming, they don't invest into the second round. They only put Deagles in particularly a Tech 9 over on Rush with a bit of armor on Mixwell. So actually saving a fair bit here. More so done on the CT side than the T side, just due to the effect that these pistols can have if you go for those fast Tech 9 plays. But either way, Space Soldiers, a lot of SMGs into this one. They've typically been playing rifles mostly in these second rounds after winning pistols, but switching it up, and it will be the right call to make against this kind of buy.
OpTic, they've gone and stuck Mixwell out in mid. He's got himself a Deagle. Also has Nafline. Rush coming in through lower tunnels. He's going to have a 3-man approach out towards mid. Zentaras hopping around, able to go ahead and find the first. No trade frag in sight. Peak comes out towards Ramp and Palace, and Tarek and A's get completely annihilated. Rush on his lonesome in connector, waiting to see if Naf is going to come on through to help out. Which he will, but his life expectancy is not very long, actually. Does find some good damage on a Calyx. They've gotten into connector, but they have to be careful because there's players in ladder room, in window, and up towards stairs that can shut this down.
Counter-terrorists win.
Clean. That'll be good for the money for Space Soldiers. Not only do they utilize those SMGs, but also they don't lose a man in the process. Now OpTic can reinvest in a couple of pistols here and there, just tidbits of a buy, but not enough to commit to anything too heavy. A Space Soldier's likely to pick up a 3rd here. couple of PT50s, bit of utility. I like to see that as well. In these kind of empty rounds where you don't have anything to play with, just get some utility, get a flashbang, get a smoke, something to give you a chance to get the bomb down. Because if OpTic get the bomb down, they haven't invested enough to counteract that. $800 extra. People like Rush, people like Mixwell, they're going to be making a lot of cash considering they barely invested. And Rush, talking of him, making cash indeed. Quick kill onto Major, first SMG drop, but there is a rifle from Calyx, and at range versus Glocks, I know who I favour. Spraying away, Rush trades. Calyx is going to pull one back.
OpTic looking like they want to try and continue this aggression out towards A. They've got themselves that UMP on Mixwell. Stacked up outside of A. Paz, the man within the site, has support from Calyx on hand. He now turns his attention back towards Palace. They've got this crossfire set up. OpTic just going to be running that clock on down. Ready to push in. TheFatRat lining up the smokes and flashes to allow them to do so and facilitate this push. Down goes the smoke to block off vision from CT onto ramp. Paz can still spot Palace. Calyx has to watch the cross, but he's let one get by. Tries to stop the bomb plant, which he does. Is going to go down a haze, but it was more than worth it. Denies the bomb plant. Now it falls to Paz to continue that legacy onwards, and he won't. Lets his teammate down. Bomb plant going to come on through. Mixwell in the 1v2 within the site. Already done what OpTic intended to do and more as they pick up 3 frags onto Space Soldiers. Defuse is going to come in, but this is going to leave OpTic with plenty of money to invest into the next round.
And despite Calyx going down there, that was a worthy peak. Even though the bomb was planted eventually, him actually going for that fight, if he came out on top of that engagement, he stopped the bomb plant and he didn't die, there would have been no bomb plant. But unfortunately for him, OpTic pull it back, they get his kill, they turn it into a 2-on-2, and that facilitates a plant because Space Soldiers back off and they play for a retake. So good stuff from at least Calyx to overextend, to try and fight that, try and deny the money, because OpTic barely put any cash into that round. And as I said earlier, that's going to give them a net profit. But now we see the push up in the middle for the CT side, switching up the pace as soon as OpTic go for the buy. TheFatRat at the top of middle, holding on with Mixwell posted as well with the AWP. Space Soldiers not biting. They've got this heavy mid control, but they're not going to be committing to anything too heavy other than just holding off close. Smoke is down in mid, they fall back. OpTic now granted free passage, but going to be a bit lenient in pushing into towards this area after all the control taken by Space Soldiers early on.
Now OpTic come rushing out into middle. 3 players here, with Hazed sneaking on in through lower tunnels. Zentares actually going to go aggressive down through ramp, spots one of the players out, and now fades away. OpTic just whittling this timer down. Only 55 seconds left to make their lineup, and it looks like A will be the site in question. You've got TheFatRat in mid. I would have imagined they would have kept Hazed here in lower tunnels, which they will. They've got that crossfire set up, the trade potential still up in mid, and TheFatRat's been allowed to worm his way up into connector. Zentares will be holding it. Hazed has now joined him, and this is where things get a little bit complicated if you're Space Soldiers. 2 players coming out through connector, all the attention going to be split between multiple angles out on the A bomb site. Push ready to come through, that pop flash is perfect. Down goes Zentares, Engine to try and refrag, only gets 1. And Zentares, Calyx and Engine all fall within A.
Oh no. Major running out of ammo in that fight. Hazed will take him. Now Paz, almost undoable situation. Mixwell still even got that AWP just to hold the angle, but it's Rush playing close that Paz is about to walk into. Round to the corner, doesn't check the close angle and rushes there. OpTic, they pick up their first buy round, good stuff there. They managed to take that control despite Space Soldiers wasting valuable seconds with that mid play that caused OpTic to late round push it. They still managed to get their way into connector. As you said, good flashbangs coming out from ramp, and they managed to take down Zentares and Engine quickly at only the cost of a singular player. So now OpTic on the board, but Space Soldiers again going in for the buy here. Reset potential, sorry. If they do get it, OpTic's money is going to be back down to zilch.
Oh, then there's Calyx. Mixwell already eliminated and out of the equation so early on. And no trade potential either from OpTic. Calyx going to look to try and pick this AWP up. We said how it has kind of been a bit of a mixture between Calyx and Engine on this AWP. And now they've got that double up set up for the sake of a $1,200 UMP. OpTic in response have rotated 3 players over here towards A, leaving Hazed up in apps. Imagine he's going to look to try and loop through tunnels later on in the round to pincer the potential rotates coming in from Space Soldiers. But this setup is above and beyond better for Space Soldiers this time around. The smokes now going to head into the site. The rotates already pulling through. You can see Paz sneaking up through mid. Still with 50 seconds left, OpTic plenty of time to change their mind.
Just all on a pick here. They need a pick. He's looking for one, but he has a bomb. He's pushing out with a bomb. That's just risky. Calyx will take him down as a result. They know that this orb has been picked up. They didn't spot it towards ramp, and Xantares sprays down 2 more from jungle as Paz captures the rotation. Hazed attempts to come in late through the connector, but I don't know about that. OpTic walking out ramp for the bomb? Questionable. No chance to back off if you go for that kind of play. As a result, they go down without a bomb plant, or even a fight for that matter. The reset comes in hard at that. OpTic forcing things up. Triple AK, it's not too bad, I guess. A couple of Tech 9s for the run and gun style, and I'd like to just see a burst play towards B, but they set up towards A. Maybe a smoke execute could also work out. We've still got this double up in play, though. That's going to be picked up by Calyx over on A with the support from Major as well. Xantares, as he does, focusing on middle, but he's fast on the rotation. He's in the connector. Space Soldiers could just set up and play for retake here. They have the perfect setup for this one. No one is committed to the site. No one under balcony. This could be a 5-on-5 post plant.
Yeah, OpTic just going to be given the site. Calyx does wait a little bit more aggressively over in CT. Xantares to find the first. Haze goes down. This boost to be paying off as they find a bit of damage across the rest of the gang. Rush. He's pushed up in towards window. Major going to get boosted into the waiting moors of Rush on this Tech 9. But now they know that he's here. He's isolated apart from the rest of the team. They're going to look to try and guillotine him. And they will just smoke him off. This leaves him with the 3 players in the site to contend with. Mixwell to find the first. Still more work to do as Rush peeks out. Does take 1, but it's Mixwell fully blind, tapping away. Gets himself 3. Still more work left to do. But Calyx does return before Nat finishes that one off. It will be OpTic in with a second. Mixwell. Good stuff from him.
Yeah, I love the setup from OpTic, playing to the advantages. They have that Tech 9, play it close, hold the connector, just spout away, jiggle peek, and they had that crossfire between him and Mixwell on the site to at least hold down any kind of jungle connector push. Mixwell was originally holding window, and they switched back towards the connector once the smoke went down. Completely held back anyone from Space Soldiers, getting back in through the jungle because they were too busy focusing on Rush. And now we see an eco from the CTs. They get reset off the back of a force fire. This should just be a done deal. OpTic should be able to pick this up without too much fight back from Space Soldiers. Not a lot of resistance so far. 2 kills already coming through. And TheFatRat tagged down a little bit, but they can just focus on the other players picking up the damage now. Torres with the deagle. The man you want in this situation, but nothing will come through for him as he wraps back round towards the spawn. And TheFatRat finds another one. Engine overextends. This is just Space Soldiers trying to do damage on an individual basis.
Calyx and Xantares, the king and Fresh Prince, father and son. Still alive and kicking here for Space Soldiers, looking to try and do some damage. Calyx over on A, all on his lonesome. Xantares, he's the one we're going to look to inside of B to try and make this hand cannon work. Just opts to rotate away as the peak comes out for sure. As he makes his way on in, Rush will be quick to snuff him out. That's the B-bomb site crumbling down around Calyx, who currently resides on his lonesome on a 1v5. Don't fancy his odds of getting too much done here. It will be a 3rd round for OpTic. All in all, I think since getting onto these rifles, it's been a much closer affair. I mean, they've done a fantastic job of pulling themselves back into this.
Yeah, and I like the slow play on the anti-eco as well. That's something NA teams sometimes struggle with. They just, they're anti-eco and they start chasing kills and going too aggressive. But OpTic, they pick up a couple of kills, they sit in mid, TheFatRat makes a call, they just wait for everyone to push them. And one by one, Space Soldiers, Xantares and then Engine, and TheFatRat just takes them all down. And it's easy. And then OpTic have, a 5v2 straight off the bat, and they can just charge late round into a site after they held mid. Because that's the thing, even after those picks, they just sat in middle and held angles. That's perfect. Make Space Soldiers make the play. And when nothing comes through, you can just hit a site in the man advantage. So, good stuff from OpTic, but now we're back on rifles for Space Soldiers. Another chance to contend with the North Americans as we see 4 rifles, 1 UMP, 1 FAMAS, 1 TV utility on the CT side, but a lack of kit once again.
Aggression over towards ramp. Hot flash comes through it. Nets Xantares the first. Major gets the hell out of there. Maintains the 4-on-4. The trade from Mixwell was pivotal, but he is there to pick that up. And with that frag, they're now going to look to try and rotate players off through T-spawn, going slightly to try and either grab control or mid. The fact that they keep Mixwell here on the AWP suggested it might be Apps instead. But no, they're just going to go ahead and rotate him off now. Everyone turning their attention in towards the middle, and they know they've lost a man. The most common area for a team to kind of go a bit lax on, especially when they're coming into this with a FAMAS and a UMP, is going to be middle. So OpTic now sneaking on by. 3 players out in mid. Hazed on his lonesome over in apartments. As OpTic split their forces, try and converge out in towards the B-bomb site.
He's making contact here. Paz is close. That molly should force him out of the position. Moves back from the car and into the open, into the waiting arms of Tarek. Another frag coming in for OpTic as they converge this B site. Engine caught outside, but he's trying to pick one up, trying to equalize the numbers. But Hayes says no, returns fire, and that should knock Space Soldiers out of the round. A justifiable peak there coming out from the player over in Market, but once you lose that fight, the round's over. OpTic have to pick it up, and there's no way you can contend with that, even with the damage done onto Hayes and Tarek. Will be a 4th round for the North Americans. Surprisingly so far, though, as you said, been very, very good on these rifles, and this hasn't been as close as the other rounds either, so they keep some money in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, the player that really kind of won that round there for OpTic in a lot of ways was Mixwell. If we saw that aggressive peak come in from Major and Zantares and they just got that free frag, they dropped rush and then fallen on back, would have been a completely different scenario. You could have seen aggression, that would have netted them a whole boatload of information out towards A. They would have had an extra rifle picked up, it would have been a completely different story, but Mixwell is on the ball. In spite of, not being entirely set up to trade that, he gets it. Puts us into a 4-on-4, and then the instantaneous reactions from OpTic just to rotate on off and try and hit that B-bomb site pan out perfectly.
And Mixwell's a player who's been getting a lot of flack recently for not stepping up. When he joined the team, he was on fire, he was doing so well, especially under Stanislaw. He was kind of the player at the top of the board a lot of the time. But now, recently, he's been kind of slowing down and not having the same effect as some of the other players on his team, or anyone for that matter. So now it's nice to see him actually having some effect this event. But we are early days, there are only 2 games in. So let's see if that continues in good stride as OpTic once again focusing towards middle, playing the anti-eco at range as she should. OP pistols come through, rush opens up, and this is the thing, this is what OpTic are expecting, Space Soldiers over aggression. They did it versus SK, and that worked really well. SK were caught off guard a lot of the time by Space Soldiers just pushing up and getting in their face. But now we're against OpTic, for some reason, you would assume that they'd be far more sloppy, but they seem to be very good at holding off against these aggressive CT plays.
Lanxess able to find one. Major going to take some aggression in through connector to try and help Paz out. He's going to be a bit forward and will be punished for it. Engine still wreaking havoc, does find some good damage, but it all gets left onto the shoulders of Lanxess, who goes for the spray on a short, and that could have been very scary. Luckily enough, Hayes does pick that one up, and OpTic, they're going to go ahead and take the lead 5-4. And I feel like one of the things for a lot of these teams coming into this is you have to feel like a lot of them had never really given the Space Soldiers that much attention. In particular, the teams from the NA side of the pond, right? Why would they? It's an EU team that a lot of people hadn't really regarded in too kind of higher terms up until now. And I feel like OpTic have clearly seen how they played against SK, what exactly went on, and have looked to learn from that.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams didn't really try and anti-strat Space Soldiers. That's hard enough as it is, because, they do play a very loose style.
Just you wait till they get on a cobblestone.
Yeah.
Then they'll learn.
It's a very loose style, but that's the thing. Teams came under-prepared for the Space Soldiers, but OpTic so far seem to be doing a good job over on this T side, exploiting the weaknesses, playing the anti-ecos very safe. They may have done research, knowing that this is likely going to be one of the teams that they would be playing, but even so, it's a good start. Being said, Space Soldiers are still on the buy here, and no pickers come through. We see Zantares again in the connector. I love him as a player, but he's not been getting any success with this aggression from the connector. Maybe he should start to switch things up a little bit. It's just risky.
Yeah, I have to agree. Zantares not being very successful.
Thanks, Harry. Appreciate it.
Has been struggling. And now OpTic, the man on the entry, going to be eliminated. Zantares stepping on up, looking to try and prove us wrong. Finds even more damage. It's going to fall. at the hands of Mixwell, but ultimately Paz the man to step on up. Calyx going to fall to Hayes as the two-man duo for OpTic look to try and overwhelm this site. Hayes dodging the bullets, doesn't quite get the bomb down. It will be denied by Major, leaving this all on Mixwell. 1v3, he's made his way into the site. There's 17 seconds left, time is of the essence, but with all three players connected, that Molotov could have made a huge difference. Mixwell, what the hell was that? Lands the flick of a lifetime. Now going to get the bomb down, his wrist is broken. He finds himself in the 1v2, takes the peek on out. Engine doing damage, does shut him down. They get the bomb plant, but Space Soldiers win the round, 5-5. All tied up once again.
I believed after that first shot,
I know,
Harry. I believed.
Hopeful.
That would have been incredible, but clean stuff from Space Soldiers not to get caught out by that AWP player. Nice flick nonetheless, I barely saw it. It's 5-5, equaled up. Space Soldiers back on the board, let's have a look at this. Look, coming down lower, spots the head, boom, in through the side of the box as well. That is so good, that is sick. But 5-5, and OpTic now still with the cash to buy up after a 5 streak, so they should be able to get a reset here if Space Soldiers let up in this round. That could come back to haunt them, that could be a really bad situation to be in. So much aggression, man. So much aggression.
Calyx punished for that. Paz, up one short, going to answer with some aggression of his own, but Tarek shuts him down. And well, right now, Space Soldiers aggression versus OpTic, it just doesn't mix well. In towards CT, Hayes going to go down as Engine. On his AWP, able to get one Mixwell in with the return. It's all on Major and Zintares. Zintares able to get one. Smoke does rain in, but now he's turned it back into the 2-on-3. Major's been allowed to make his way in towards window room, now into jungle. Tarek takes the peek, spotted out, but will go down, and now it's the 2-on-2. Mixwell going to be holding the angle, stepping up when they need him to. Goes ahead and gets a second, it's all onto Zintares. 1v2, bomb timer ticking away, sneaking into the site. Rush going to be holding CT, but he's been allowed to slip on by. He spots out the first. Mixwell takes the peek and shuts him down. A 3K for the Spaniard. And that is going to be OpTic with a 6th.
And a pause called out. I can only imagine this is a tactical for Space Soldiers, especially after OpTic get that reset. Just taking some time to work out what they want to do. Money is going to be the main issue here coming in for the CT side, and OpTic, they've got plenty of it. Look at the cash on the terrorist side. They've got 5K on Mixwell, they've got 7K over on Rush, and 2K respectively on both Tarek and Hayes. So actually not too bad of a situation to be in if you're OpTic after that kind of streak. Look, that's 2 resets they've actually gotten directly onto Space Soldiers. That's why they're crushing them so much here, Harry, because Space Soldiers have had a couple of ecos and looking to continue that as well.
Yeah, when we look at it, I mean, the money isn't great, right? They can't really afford to do much to this. They're going to go for the Force because they had a couple of players who weren't looking too great, and also their Space Soldiers, they are a fan of their aggressive buys. Tarek's gone for the Mach 10, so this, I was going to say, isn't too bad, but then there's 3 players with that head armor, so it's still going to be very powerful, even though these players have elected to force by Major with the aggression, shut down by Tarek. That lack of head armor comes back to punish him. The man advantage gathered here by OpTic.
See, these are the rounds where you kind of expect aggression, right? Because you've only got pistols and SMGs. You want to go for something fast, catch off some guns, grab yourself some AKs to play with. But again, Space Soldiers, the one thing that led them to win the map versus SK is now coming back to haunt them against OpTic. It's such a unlikely situation. Look at the position from Engine though. Oh no, Engine! 2 for him! He gets traded by Hayes, but still damage is done and money is made with the UMP as 2 remain for Space Soldiers, Calyx and Zintares. OpTic starting to regroup, move back in towards that B site. Bomb as well. Pull back towards the top of middle. This should be the B taken with only a solo defender. Zintares with the Deagle. Not exactly an easy prospect, but they should be able to overrun him here. He's moving back up towards short, so not exactly the best angle for him to hold onto the apartments, nor has he got any information on the matter as well.
Yeah, he snuck up through short. OpTic. Molotov going to signal their approach. Zintares given some precious time to make his mind up, but he gets caught falling back to short, and now he's going to become Spam. Tares able to find the first, but Hayes eliminates him. It falls onto Calyx in the 1v2. He's going to try and go for this one. Makes his way over towards short. He's got himself armor. He has an AK, a nice bit of utility as well. Naf and Hayes, the 2 players that remain. Calyx sneaking on up short. Bomb timer ticking away. He doesn't have the defuse kit. He has to try and be quick here. Here's the pop flash out from the site. Hayes actually takes the peek and is going to get spotted. This is where Naf needs to try and help if he goes for the peek, which he won't. Calyx knows the time is too far gone, grabs the AWP, and now just looks to try and make a tactical retreat. It will be a 7th for OpTic in this one. AWP going to be carried forward, but Space Soldiers don't have anything to invest into the next round. Oh, maybe not even the AWP.
Don't fight. It's not worth it. OpTic have money. Even with 2 players, you've done enough damage for you to be able to justify just hiding now.
Yeah, that was us going live to the in-game comms of the coach, apparently. That was some very good personal advice.
Yeah, really no point for that one, but either way, top quality replay there.
Yeah, that was good. That was my favourite Zentaris clip.
Put me off guard. 7-5 to OpTic now. Pretty good lead on the T side considering this is a CT-sided map, but even so, Space Soldiers surprisingly not getting much done. I'm not holding my breath though for this to be a win until I see the second half.
Calyx.
Because I want to see Space Soldiers on that T side.
Calyx going to open this one up. He's got himself the Catalyst AWP and he's already netted them the man advantage early on now. In the meantime, yeah, it's allowed Naf to be on his lonesome in mid. He's got an AWP of his own. Mixwell actually going to be donning the rifle. And now the smokes and flashes just barrage in towards the A-bomb site. 3 players primed and ready, going to go in with the aggression. Only players with pistols, Major and Zentaris within the site. Calyx rooting around through CT, but they've actually been held up over on Tetris, and this is like the worst way they could try and push this. Zentaris want to get himself 1. They do trade back. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of OpTic, but Calyx, the beast they have to try and tame over in CT, still alive with the AWP, takes the peek, misses that opening shot, and that could have made all the difference. He loses engine. It's all on Calyx. Holding the angle. It's going to be Naf. And he will shut him down. OpTic in with an 8. Space Soldiers starting to trail behind. They've got enough money to buy. But they are on the back foot.
They need a buffer, that's the thing. Because again, if we're going to see their decide like properly a couple of rifle rounds, if they lose pistol and they end at 10-5 and they lose pistol, very likely 13-5, and then we finally see the buy, and that's too late for Space Soldiers. They won't have enough time to fall back on. They lose 1 rifle round, it's it. So we need to be seeing Space Soldiers pick up the slack right now before it gets too close. It's almost getting too far gone. Obviously 5 is okay, but you know, we're coming into this one saying this is an equal matchup, and so far it's not proving to be so. OpTic are doing damage on the less favoured side of this map. At the drop of a hat, Space Soldiers, they could be falling short of this one out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's been the combo of Mixwell and Rush, or Mush, as they like to be known. Zentaris up through mid, able to find the first. Tarek will go down. The fire going to hold him back, and actually with that, if OpTic had gone out fast into A, which does look to be what the plan is, they held back the rotate. The timing wasn't fantastic though. They've actually pushed up through connector. Calyx peeking on out, able to get 1, has bought that much more time, and Major can't even see the frags he's getting in through the smoke. Picks up Hazed. Bomb's going to be retrieved, courtesy of Mixwell. And now they're going to look to try and fade away. 2v4.
That's the second time Major sprayed through a smoke and stopped the bomb plant, or at least the bomb cross now. That's insane he's managed to do so much damage just in through the smoke. Knows the lineup perfectly towards a box. But it's surprising Space Soldiers haven't, cottoned onto this one. Already OpTic are falling back towards the B site. They're not being subtle about it either. If there was anyone in middle, they would have heard the footsteps by now. And OpTic, they're going to be their way into B. Well, any fight back. That being said, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, Space Soldiers have a 4v2 retake. This should be okay. But still, Naf and Mixwell, the dynamic duo, cannot be counted out of this round. Bomb, making its way towards the site. They're just trying to clear up B so no one gets caught out early. Plant will come in through finally, and Mixwell a bit of aggression just to bring it into the heat. He can get a pick and fall back here if Space Soldiers don't properly clear this angle, but Zentaris, he just doesn't care. He loves playing on his own. It's like he's playing a pug. Running into the site, Naf goes down. Mixwell now alone, and out of nowhere, the rest of the players are going to filter in behind him. There's nothing he can do when Zentaris is alive. And 2 kills, make it 3 in the round for Zentaris. It will be going to Space Soldiers.
In with a 6th chance to try and make this a close half. We figured it would be. 7-8 is as close as it gets. Gonna go ahead and carry one of the AWPs forward. Engine, the one to try and don his AWPing shoes. And Tara's gonna be dropping an M4 over to Calyx. The buy comes in. OpTic, interestingly enough, I was gonna say they haven't gone for an AWP, but yes they have. Mixwell, he's the man with the plan. I actually tossed it over to Naf a while ago. I think that's because he had the spawn for it, but this time it was Mixwell, and there we go. Pays off immediately. Zentaris is out in mid, but the smokes and flashes hold him back and keep that beast at bay. Down in lower tunnels. Mixwell is in danger of being caught out. No one else is in a position to trade this out in mid. If Centaurus takes the peak now, he could easily drop Mixwell and just fall on back through lower tunnels, but he's playing it passively instead. Man advantage going to be maintained in the meantime for Space Soldiers. Pop flash to allow Centaurus to take that peak, but the only issue is when that goes off, they should have an idea now as to where Centaurus is. He spots one of the players up mid, but all he's done is ring the dinner bell. They're going to come looking for him. It's Mixwell to find one, and the second as he goes off with the AWP in mid. Engine to go ahead and get one in return, does return us from the madness into a 2-on-2. The bombs completely bypassed any resistance as Hazed going in sneaky beaky like in towards the B-bomb site.
This is perfect. Space Soldiers have no idea, and they even have the short control. Hayes can easily get an open plant here. Instead, gonna go for the apartments plant just to help out his teammate there as he makes his way late in through apps. And now they know it's B. Now Engine knows exactly what's up, so he's gonna fast peek as a molly comes down. He peeks before. They might know he's already there, and Haste will takes the fight, takes down the kill, and now it's all onto Calyx. Has to run back into the site on his own. Bit of utility, a kit as well to work with for the final remaining player, but they're both posted on his position. I think they should know where he's coming from as well. He's not coming from the apps, he's probably not going to come from short as well, and NAF will be ready for the market. It's OpTic to close out the half 9-6, a great half from the North American side, but Space Soldiers, bit lackluster.
Yeah, that was a fantastic first half regardless, an explosive one. Be sure to stick around and join us when we get into the second in about 2 minutes. A fantastic first half there. Explosive, emotional, a little bit disappointing from Space Soldiers, but still, let's not undersell it if you are just joining us. Of course, it ended up 9-6 in favor of OpTic, but a pistol round is all that it takes to return us to an even scoreboard. Hugo, what are your thoughts going forward?
I want to see Space Soldiers T side. I want to see their rifles.
I wonder, actually, sorry to interrupt, but I wonder if we can get the Betway odds to see if this has affected it, right? Sorry.
I was about to say that.
I know, I cut you off.
It's okay, don't worry. I'm not important. I want to see their T side. I want to see their rifles. Of course, the pistol needs to be getting out of the way. And we are actually live, Harry, this time. We are live into the pistol. And let's not talk about our predictions. Let's jump right into this. Hayes, hello, up towards the top of middle. He spots 3. That's a lot of fighting back from Space Soldiers. He should fall on back, and his Antares will remove his teammate from the equation. Hayes tagged a little bit, but he does damage in return as he makes his way back towards Connector, and OpTic have to settle with none.
Yeah, if there was one team I wouldn't go aggressive against, it is probably Space Soldiers. It'd be like going aggressive against a Lion in a fist fight. It's just a bad idea. They've already gone ahead and lost Tarek early on. Hayes was lucky to escape intact. And now Space Soldiers, they've slowed right down. They found this man advantage, and on the back of it, they're now taking this slow. They don't want to give anything away. They want to try and keep themselves in the advantageous position. 3 players over in mid, 2 up in apartments. And I imagine we're actually going to see that bomb start to fall back, and that's largely because I'm not really sure they want to try and dedicate out towards mid just yet, especially up against these USPs. They don't actually have any utility to help out. They're going to go charging up into apps. And actually, the bomb is crossing. Mixwell are going to be holding it. They spot the bomb out, and I think this is to try and sell. No, there you go. The player's now moving up through short. Naf tagged away, but Hayes chiming in with 1. They're doing a lot of damage. Zintares tapping away with the Glock, but it's Rush and Naf between them. Get 2, turning us back into a 2-on-2. They make this round that much more spicy. The bomb goes down. Naf has been tagged low. Engine could be the difference maker. Goes in for the peak.
I love this.
And they're going to take the aggression, but it's allowed Rush to make his way up through apps. He's going to get legged on the push on out, but he's still got players with the crossfire set up. He's waiting for Naf to try and come in and support, but he's just dodging around on the site. It's going to fall, and now it falls onto 13 HP Naf, who only being headshot, just going to go ahead and save.
Naf wraps all the way around to short, and that means Rush either has to make a play or wait 20 seconds, but they don't have a kit to play with, so there's no point in him waiting. He has to go and make a play, and Rush isn't able to get anything there. So Naf, sadly for him, just due to him being low, due to the double aggression that we saw over Market, which was great, by the way, we are going to see Space Soldiers pick that up. If Naf had a little more HP, he probably would have contested through the Market, but wanted to take a more open route where he could get the range in his favor with that USP. Either way, 9 rounds still for OpTic. Space Soldiers pick up a 7th, and this is where it gets interesting, Harry. This is where it negates the only mere 6 rounds we saw on the CT side of Space Soldiers. Now they can start to bring up the heat, and this is 2 pistol rounds in a row as well. You've got to take that into account. They picked up the first pistol round, and they only got 6 rounds and a half. Now they've taken the second. They lose this game with 2 pistol rounds. That's humiliating.
Oh. Yeah, this time they want to try and maintain advantage. The scouts actually found a bit of damage onto Calyx. In the meantime, Hayes going to take the aggression. He's going to learn the hard way that mid does not belong to him, and it never will. As Zintares goes ahead and just annihilates the rest of his brethren around him, leaving it now all on Rush. 1v5, hiding in a corner. Just hiding, cowering at the bottom of the stairs. Reminds me of my childhood. Rush peeking out. Nearly gets 1, but Major doesn't let that happen. It's going to be 8-9. Space Soldiers 1 round away from equalizing this out, and OpTic can go for a bit of an investment here if they'd like to. But I imagine we're going to see them opt to try and get the orb, get some extra utility in that buy round.
Yeah, that's why they ecoed the last one. Otherwise, they would have probably bought a little bit more into it. Yeah, they won't really vibe too much. Zeus coming in for Mixwell, just trying to play a bit of BM, but other than that, not really too much. Tidbits of utility. And a rush on a P250 as Space Soldiers, they take that, or attempt to take that mid control. They fall on back. Major's sitting towards the top, waiting for the aggression. It seems like both these teams have kind of read the opposition really well. Both these teams seem to be aggressive on mid as the CT side, and both the terrorist side just hold back, and it seems to be, well, countering the counter. This time, though, it is only an eco, so Space Soldiers don't have to wait too long before they eventually decide to commit towards a certain area of the map, and that area will be B. Engine regaining control of ground in which they lost. There's nothing here for OpTic. They brought nothing aggressive in. They're actually just going to be pre-rotating. I like this. Go for a kind of stack. Switch things up on the CT side on these kind of rounds, and they'll put 4 on B. Hazed on mid to grab information on the connector control, because if he sees players pushing through connector, he can call for that rotation. But no, Space Soldiers are walking right into the stack carry. This could be dangerous despite the USPs. Yeah,
Mixwell going to be there with his Zeus, looking to try and claim himself. They jump over Tarek, but he will fall. Mixwell picking up on the USP. Will then fall, but these USPs putting in work. Naf claims himself a second. It's into the 3-on-3. The bomb's been dropped out in the site, and Naf is still trying to get more work done. The rotates come in. There's a player trapped on short. It is going to be Major. He's doing damage with the UMP, but has to think about reloading sooner rather than later. Gets himself 1. Rush is boosted up in the site.
Oh no.
Oh no, Hayes hauls his back, but Engine delivers us from the madness, stops the simulation in its tracks, and that is going to be Space Soldiers with a 9th, albeit by the skin of their teeth. OpTic invested, what, like $800 into that round?
A little more. They had utility early on, like $2 grand. $2 grand across 5 players, you know, and 3 players didn't even invest. They had 2 players. They had a double nade, they had a smoke, they had a PT50, and they had a Zeus. So maybe not $2 grand, maybe about $1.5 grand.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, terrible maths. Never do maths on stream. Either way, good effective round from OpTic, and that stack worked out wonderfully. But, you know, they were ecoing enough as it is, Harry. They were saving all that cash. And not only is that eco, but also that round helped them to buy up this double AWP with utility. A lot of it used early on, but they still have 2 AWPs in play. Naf mollied in under balcony, and Hayes will actually pick up first blood for the CT side, but Naf still sits in the flames, unawares, he's blind. Calyx will remove his face, and Mixwell will fire back with the AWP, but only for Hayes to be dropped in the meantime. It's favouring OpTic right now, but Calyx will draw it back into 2-on-2. Space Soldiers need to get the plant.
It's the 2 AWPs in the, I was going to say in the retake, but as they drop out Engine, getting this bomb down becomes a much harder prospect. Luckily enough, for Calyx in this scenario, actually Tarek's rotated on off to take up the same angle as Mixwell. If they go for any sort of peek, which they really don't need to do, they could risk throwing this away, but no, Mixwell gonna drop out Calyx, takes the aggressive angle in through the smoke. And actually, I do agree with that in the long run. Retaking that site with 2 AWPs would have been a nightmare. Denying that bomb plant with 2 AWPs is very easy. There's a huge difference there, especially in that 1-on-2. Calyx had very little in terms of utility, so great read from OpTic. And I think right now we're seeing some very good, you know, strategic decisions coming in from these guys.
Yeah, and a nice win condition and having that double AWP. Maybe misreading the economy here, or maybe the cash is a bit low for the CT side. We've got Hayes on an MP9. I can imagine it's just a loss of cash here, as they did lose 3 players in the previous one. That's not going to be the right buy for the job unless he wants to just go aggressive. But it's Mixwell again. He's up to 19 kills right now, Harry. He has been stopping this match. As we see them run on into B, Tarek gets blinded. Could have gone for the blind shot, but instead doesn't want to give away the position of the AWP. Waits for them to show their faces, and they will. And they'll remove his. Santares, another entry onto B. It's going to be Rush playing close. And Mixwell trying to rotate in from short, but the smoke is down. He can't sight a single terrorist. Rush forced out with a molly, and he goes down to the SMG of Paz, leaving just Nap on the site to get damage done. He will do so. It's trades. It's so close. But Hayes is on the back lines.
Yeah, and he's using my favourite gun. He could be the one to make all the difference. Finds the first, the MP9 roars into action. Jump shot going to come in from Calyx, but there's Hayes. The MP9, it trumps all, as we see there. Nice bit of money made. Fantastic stuff from him on the flank. Mixwell has been playing his absolute heart out in this.
I didn't know the MP9 was your favourite gun. That's also my favourite gun, Harry. We have so much in common. That's cute.
Yeah, no, I've always said the MP9 is my favourite.
I'm a big fan.
10 out of 10. I really hope it gets used more than the UMP. I mean, look, we're already seeing a resurgence in an ACS. And actually, if the trends continue, we'll never make it to EU if that's the case. But Mixwell. Actually, a lot of respect for Rush. He's looking to take the MP9 overboard shot, looking to try and make some money. It's actually surprisingly good at range, especially against these fleshy, squishy players with no armor. Laid in mid, finds that much more damage out into Engine. They've made their way up through Connector and already boosted the player up, who's in the back line. Major, what are you doing? Lets him cross, drops out Rush. And now he hears Tarek as well. Has himself the MP9, but Tarek will drop him out of the equation. Now turning his attention up towards Apps. He's here alone. He's got to step up in a big way. The AWP is probably the worst gun for this scenario, but not if you're Tarek, as he's just going to make this work regardless. Gets himself 3, trying to claim a 4th. He's all that stands between Space Soldiers and the plant within this site. Calyx coming in from behind, though, could make all the difference. Finds the first, trying to get more work done. Calyx tapping away, now on 2. Tarek within the site, the lone B defender falls to Paz, leaving this all on Naf. Spotted out over an apartment, 1v2. Pete comes out with the AWP, the first shot missed. It's all on Calyx. He's got himself 2. He has to get the 3k to win this out. Does have armor. Naf has already done damage. Bombs dropped for Naf. 20 seconds left. Utility gonna be on the back of Naf. Flies doing damage. Calyx takes the peek, but Naf wins it out. Calyx hits the deck, and that's OpTic in with a 12th.
That's going to be heartbreaking for Space Soldiers. So much damage with the pistols, the flank, the double flank in fact. So much effect, but OpTic will pick it up regardless. Only an eco, so good job done, but how close can you get? That was ridiculous from Space Soldiers. Just shame not to see this same kind of play on their rifle rounds. This is so far favouring OpTic quite heavily. And again, they go for this smoke. It's a fake smoke. It's not a miss smoke. They're just trying to give the audio cue of a smoke so Space Soldiers think it's locked down and think they can peek freely with nades in their hands. They're not going to be falling for that little trick. OpTic are on the other side. Now we see the push come down. Hayes dropping in an nade, trying to fall back, but they may as well molly this under back position as they have been doing, so he's got to get himself a kill to make it worth his while. Paz will remove him. Mixwell does trade from the back of CT, but falls on through the smoke, and now still playing close. So 1-for-1, it's trades back and forth. Neither team taking the lead. Finally it will, and again going back in the favour of OpTic as TheFatRat looks to do even more damage. Zach Nave will signal the end of Calix's life, and he goes down, leaving just Santares.
1v2, knows that one of these players is in CT. TheFatRat's pushed up aggressive. Has to land this shot onto Mixwell. He locks it down with the AWP. A 13th for OpTic. Getting ever closer to that luscious match point. Mixwell has been insane. I have to give him credit. He has received some flack as of late, you know, for a couple of up and down performances, but ultimately he is showing up when they needed him to. This is fantastic from him. He's been such a key player. Might not be fragging as high as someone like Calix or Santares, albeit only one behind, but the actual impact of the frags he's got has been monumental.
Absolutely incredible. And aggression again in mid here for OpTic. They're using Space Soldier's game against them. Mixwell holds on to the underpass, 2 more. Decide to push towards the top of middle, and that's fine. He's going to make it work over on A towards the CT spawn. Drops Paz. The MP9 rattles in again. At this point, it's just adding insult to injury, and Naf will go down eventually to Santares as they finally concede a kill on the OpTic side. Bomb plant in. OpTic still with the man advantage going in for this retake, but Space Soldiers, they need to pull one back.
OpTic have the man advantage. Tarek, he's in CT, keeping Calix trapped. The rest of the team now know that he's over here as well. They're just going to go ahead and smoke off the bomb. We might even see Hayes to try to hop on that fast as they can. 2 players tasked to watch it. He's the man without the kit. He's just going to try and stick it. Engine, you have to try and connect this. He doesn't even have a kit, but he's just going to sit on it, and Mixwell gets both the frags. OpTic in with a 14. Hayes just has massive balls is the conclusion I've come to. That was phenomenal stuff.
4 players alive for OpTic. 3 of them had kits. 1 player without a kit, and he decides to stick the bomb. I guess he has an UMP, so it makes more sense, but it's just the confidence on these guys. Or maybe the unknowing factor, not knowing you don't have a kit. I don't know. Either way, just disgusting stuff. And OpTic are, you know, they're crushing Space Soldiers. I said I went CT side. I thought I'd be impressed, but frankly, Space Soldiers are letting me down in this one. Seems like my first incorrect prediction today if this carries on the way it's been going. And good damage early on. Onto Hayes, but still return fire to Santares, and Calix walking through smoke. Mixwell, another easy pickup for him. Looking in for more in middle. There's still one more pushing up short. Makes some footsteps. Mixwell can't connect. Falls back with the help of the Molotov. Peeks out for more. There's 2. This guy's having no issue, Harry. We've brought him up time and time again, and good reason so.
And the aggression from Mixwell, just something that never ends. It's relentless over in mid. Santares has been allowed to sneak out over here at ramp. He's trying to pass on by undetected. Hayes is up in Palace, though, a perfect angle to shut this down. Mixwell now turns his attention. The timing not going to work out. Santares falls. He was the man on the lurk. Paz drops Mixwell, but Naf is there to trade things back instantly, leaving this all on Major. 1v4, bomb in hand. Over towards ramp, sneaking on up. Pop flash. Not going to come through. No. He's going to take this aggression in drive. Hayes spots him out despite being 12 HP, picks him up. And now it's match point for OpTic. 15-9, a fantastic showing on their CT half. I didn't think it could get better after that T side, and it has.
And that lack of a bomb plant in the previous round has cost Space Soldiers an arm and a leg. They've got no cash here. Double AK, double UMP, Tech 9. It's only loss bonus they're playing off the back off now. This is not enough to go for the buy. Obviously they have to because it's match point, but at this rate, they've not won anything in the last, what, 6 rounds? This has just been a one-sided affair. 6 in a row for OpTic, looking to make it 7 to close out the map. And Harry, if I went to you before this event, OpTic are going to go 2-0 in the Swiss format. Coming into this event as one of the biggest underdogs, you wouldn't have believed me.
No, definitely not. Then let's see how this holds true. Naf to find the first, goes in for a little bit more, but he has the crossfire set with Hayes. They're just going to be tapping away. Mixwell goes down. But it's Naf and Tarek to finish things off, 16-9 in favor of OpTic Gaming. Fantastic stuff from them. a standout performance almost across the board. Their setups on the CT side looked phenomenal. They were very well prepared for whatever Space Soldiers threw at them. And one man in particular, Mixwell, just completely annihilated Space Soldiers at every opportunity he was given.
Yeah, not just that, but where is this IGL Tarek bit? The calling was perfect.
Yeah.
The anti-ecos on their T side were on point. Not to take it away from Mixwell at all, but the calling just seemed to be completely different to how OpTic have typically been playing. They've had zero success the last few months. They had their stint last year with the E-League and ECS, and that was okay. Well, not okay, that was great, but like now after this, they've performed terribly. And coming into this event, Harry, a 2-0 in the Swiss format up against North and Space Soldiers. You could argue maybe not the strongest of teams, but Space Soldiers proved themselves earlier against SK. North shouldn't be letting that series go either. OpTic are impressing me, Harry, and I think most others are going to be impressed too.
Yeah, I mean, this replay may as well just be like some sort of weird Mixwell mini movie.
It's just sticking
yeah, this yeah, just for the rest of our days, just eternally reliving that moment.
Space Soldiers never want to watch that.
Yeah,
again.
I mean, I imagine that's what Space Soldiers just have on their mind, right? It's just that one defuse looping again for eternity. That's like the definition of hell. No, that was just fantastic, though, from OpTic. I was really impressed, in all honesty. Space Soldiers, they left me wanting a little bit, but at the same time, I felt like OpTic played very well there. So I don't know if it was the case maybe of Space Soldiers not turning up or OpTic just playing it extremely well, or maybe a mixture of the two. But
I think one thing as well that's scary is Space Soldiers got 9 rounds, right? They got 2 pistols and all the conversions.
Yeah.
You said pistols. They got 6 rounds, Harry, off pistols. So they won 3 rifle or anti-eco rounds. That's just ridiculous. They only won 3 rounds aside from pistols and conversions. That's just such a weird thing to see. If you pick up both pistols and you lose a game, you don't deserve to win the game in the first place. But it's insane to think that Space Soldiers only got 3 rounds that weren't conversions or pistols.
yeah, and that was utterly fantastic. Couldn't think of a better way for us to close out our time here on the ESL One Cologne B stream. There's still more yet to come, though. One more game before we do close it out for tonight. That's going to be brought to you by Jackie and Crispian in just a little bit. But for now, it's good night from me and Hugo. Join us again in a couple of minutes, I imagine, for the next game.